So this is how I farm at the start. Just, I'll show you pretty much naked character too. So like, I don't need that. I don't need this. This is just magic find. There's nothing really on it. It's important. This is just super easy to get. I'm not going to encounter poison anyway. This also, like, the only thing I really need. Actually, let's see what my FCR is. 55. Okay, so I think 48 is the breakpoint. And that's all I'm really looking for. So you get an insight staff, preferably with like Cold Mastery or Blizzard or something on it. Just make an insight, hold it. This is also just for the magic find. This, I'm just gonna take it all off. I don't need any of it really. There's no reason to keep it, to be honest. I could keep it on, but just to kind of show that I don't need it. I'll keep this on because it literally has nothing else on it but like magic find. So you get an insight. Staff is not like you don't need a staff, but you know, you could use a Volge as long as you have like 50 strength to carry it. And then you want just one 10 FCR ring. Right, so this is pretty bare minimum. The only reason I'm wearing this right here is because like there's no reason for me not to use this. So if I'm gonna go kill Mephisto, like why wouldn't I be wearing this? Okay, so you don't need anything. That's not required either. I guess I'll take it off. This is just magic find. And in there. Not even going to use any potions. Don't need any. So this is player's 8, and it's also terrorized. Just to make sure. It's player's 8. You want to kind of roll a map where you can get it quick. If you're online, as long as you're softcore, this does not matter. Dying here does not matter. Like, because you don't need a mercenary to do this. You don't need any gear, really, to do this. So you're going to be getting gold just like constantly. So the path you want to take is straight up through this. So you see Mephisto, go down, and then come back to the moat trick. So generally, like, along this wall. So about here, go here, and then you're just gonna... I don't like him in there. I'd rather have him on the outside. Okay, so to this bump. So the line right here that connects like this bump and this bump, that's really where you want to be. If you look, there's actually like this flat bloodline, and where it ends here, that's where I put my mouse. And I just go right there. And then I have 1 point into warmth. I have max static. I max out Blizzard, and I max this out. The reason I max this out is just to give a little bit more damage to Blizzard and to freeze enemies solid. So like when you're out in the world like killing stuff, you can actually like alternate basically between, you know, Blizzard and switching. And then IMAX Cold Mastery. I'm sure you probably don't need to. And then everything else, just dump it into teleport, honestly, just to lower the mana cost. This isn't like a keep this build type thing. It's more of just like convenience where you don't need anything to get here or to kill Mephisto. Yeah, and then just static him until he's half. This is player's 8. And then just switch to Blizzard and just hold it in and just wait until he fucking dies. And you see, this is P8 and terrorized. And I don't have anything, right? Like, if there's just, I mean, I have an insight, which that's really the only requirement is the insight and 10 FCR ring or amulet or whatever. Right? Even though I did aggro the council member over there, it literally doesn't matter. If you take that path, it pulls them up. You don't want to go through the middle because it'll pull them to the middle, and then they'll be on that little over here. And then when you get close, you just have some like magic find gear and you swap to it. I personally have a gull. Usually, what I will use is a rhyme shield because it has 25. But I just had this here, so I was like, I might as well. It's get extra mana, health, and FCR and stuff. Nothing really there, but what I do is I teleport over here and I grab what is actually worth. There's a ghost there, and it will kill you. It does a lot of damage. It's on this blood spot. I believe that's why the blood spot is there. Just don't go to the blood spot, and then just go over here.
Hello.
Identify.
Greetings.
Go down and just dump it all, right? It's just pure money. Like, you're not going to be really repairing. You don't really need to. You're not going to be getting hit. Like, it's just free gold and free loot, right? And then what you'd be wanting is just literally magic find on all of these pieces. All of them. You don't need FCR. You don't need health. You don't need mana. You don't need any of that stuff. Full magic find, right? Generally, you'll get a Shaco, or if you have a 3-piece, like I got lucky and I got the towels. It's actually better than a Shaco if you have 3 pieces, because you get the 65 magic find there, but then you also get the 11 magic find here, and then you get all the extra, you know, the 10 FCR here, you get the 2 skills here. It's just better. And then you get the res and the life and mana. And then, yeah, that's a great place to get a Geeds as well. You don't need a 4 socket. You could use a 3 socket if you want. Generally, I like a 4 socket and a 3 socket helmet until I actually get this good stuff. Yeah, like I said, boots, 25 magic find if you can. And then, yeah, chances are really good. And then I actually, you know what? I don't know why I have that because it's not really. Oh, yeah, it is. I don't know. I was going to say, I don't think it's really helping with my FCR anyway, but it might be. I don't know. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. The FCR, literally, as long as you get up to 48, and you will always get that with the 35 from the insight and 10 from, or not 48, 43. Yeah, 35 here, and then a 10 from anywhere else. You'll always get 43. or 40 or whatever it is. I know I'm hitting it with, I don't really know Sorc all that well, but I just know this works. It requires nothing, and it's extremely easy. Like P8 with TZ, and I only had, like, I can literally do it with 2 items that are extremely reproducible. Yeah, then you get all that gold, and you know, you just keep dumping it in there, and whenever you want, you just buy a bunch of amulets and try to get a teleport amulet. And then once you get a teleport amulet, you can do this with other characters, or, you know, it's just a lot more, a lot better to have a teleport amulet than a staff, because you don't have to swap. You can see, like, even if I had to search for Mephisto, the FCR breakpoint that I'm hitting is totally fine, and it won't matter if you really die, like, unless you're on hardcore, obviously, but softcore doesn't matter. You don't have anything anyway, so it's like just a pure profit from getting here and killing him. As long as you get here, he's easy. It's just free loot, right? And as you can see, I have 319, and that's just with this setup. But if I swap, since I have the gold dagger, and if I had Rhyme, it would be 420 or 20-ish, because Rhyme has 25. But that's another thing that you do, is you just gamble a gold dagger. I'm not sure why this is on and not 2. But yeah, you just gamble a gold dagger. It's extremely easy. You get to level 11 with a character, and then just gamble over and over and over. And you know, you can gamble like literally hundreds of gold daggers with stash gold. Yeah, like right there, like the two super good items. Like, well, not super good items. They're unique, you know. If I had nothing, they'd be super good.
What do you need?
Just go and sell them. A very good sell value, but you're pretty much just trying to get gold here. If you have nothing, obviously. Gold is super good, and the drops are just free. You can just do this over and over, and if you die, like, there's nothing, like, there's no downside. It's kind of annoying when he does this kind of shit, but you don't want to go down too far, because you can see these guys down here. You don't want them fucking with you. That's why you want to go directly to this fucking bollard bump thing, whatever the hell it is. And then the reason you line it up right here is because Blizzard is an AoE, right? And for some reason, you just do more damage. I guess because he's like bounced around back and forth up in here. Now, if I was here, half of the Blizzard would be like off the stage, right? Like, this is like out of bounds. You can't go there. Right? See, like, any of that damage just for some reason doesn't do any damage. And if you go here, lining it up, it kind of lines up directly with the Blizzard here. So, like, all of this area can do damage. Right? So you're kind of getting like double the damage area. I know it sounds like it doesn't make much sense because he's always going to be in the damage area, but I think it doesn't fully reach over on the bottom side, so sometimes when he runs down, he goes out of the Blizzard. So it doesn't do damage like half the time, or You're gonna be maybe like a fourth of the time or something, like when he's out of the range. But if you're here, it's primarily like casting in the middle, so it's kind of spilling over left and right. You may have to re-roll the map if you're on single player, like I am right here, and you get like the council members over here in the middle. Just re-roll the map because they will always be there every single time you come in. You just want to have a map where you come in and they're not right here harassing you, and then you're totally fine. And then it doesn't really matter what you get, just grab crap because you're gonna sell it anyway.
Greetings.
13k, 13k. No, I don't really need this, but this is a good item. This is a super usable good item. 50 fire res and 20 attack speed. Great. I don't need it, but somebody would want that. You could sell it if you're doing JSP or something. This is single player, so it doesn't matter. But it's not hard to do this on ladder, whatever. You don't need anything. You don't even really need to be that high at level. 87's easy to get. But I dumped extra points into teleport that I didn't even need. And yeah, I would only recommend getting 1 point into warmth because it sucks later on. 1 point gets you 30. The next 2 points only got me 24. So 1 point is all you really need. Because I didn't actually put 3 points into that. It's just 1 point wonder kind of thing. You don't need this either. But I would recommend absolutely full static. Absolutely go full static. That cuts the kill time in half. So essentially, if you're cutting kill time in half, you're doubling the damage of your damage ability. Because if you can kill something in half the time, essentially that's like you didn't have static, but you just had 100% more damage on your attack. So instead of getting extra synergies, which is, it's not going to, like, I mean, I guess it would be 100% in this, but it's not actually, it's not 100% of this damage that you're seeing. It's 100% of the base damage. So it's significantly less damage extra for putting 20 points into like a synergy. As you can see, 20 times 5%, that's 100%. But that's to the base. With static, if you're cutting something's health in half in like a few seconds, it's a lot of extra damage. And that's AoE too. That's like everything around you. That's a fucking huge range. That's the entire screen. So I always recommend static on any build, just maxing it out. Because if you're cutting everything's health in half, even bosses and stuff, it's literally doubling your damage. You could do other stuff. You could go with Firewall. Firewall is okay. And in that case, most of the time what I do is I get warmth to 20. But I would still say absolutely get static maxed. And then probably dump some points in here. And with that build, you don't even need Insight. The Insight's just for the mana and the FCR. But you don't even need Insight there. That was my original build. So you go there, You just dump a bunch of firewalls right there, and he just runs back and forth in the firewall. But firewall sucks complete ass for killing anything else other than Mephisto. Any bosses or anything like that are just gonna run directly fucking through it and kick your ass. You can't kill anything else, and then fire's just terrible with a lot of enemies. They're just like fire immunes everywhere. Blizzard's just better because it has the slow on it, and then you can get this freeze here too, which is insanely good, highly underrated. And then cold mastery, right? So you don't need to max this out. People will tell you, don't just max out Blizzard. Why? When you can double your kill speed with static, and that hits everything on the screen. This getting 20 points into a synergy here, first of all, it doesn't hit the whole screen, and it's less damage. It's less damage. Like, first of all, you're not hitting all of the monsters. You're only hitting a specific area. But it's also just not as much kill speed as cutting their health in half with static. So, you know, and then it's safer having longer static, because everybody uses static. If you're not using static, you're just wrong. But yeah, it's 18 yards. So even if you are using it on one target, it's significantly safer. Even in like cows or something, it's a huge, huge DPS increase. I would say this build is not really meant for killing like groups of enemies. I would say better for bosses. If you're gonna go for like random, like outside, like killing monsters and shit, personally, I like Glacial Spike and Frozen Orb, because you can toggle between the two, and it makes it really, really strong. Like targeted enemies, killing them, really, really, really strong. It's kind of like a laser beam as opposed to Blizzard being like AoE. And the laser beam kind of approach is better for backing up and shooting. Because enemies are going to be running directly at you, so you're not really going to miss. This, you miss all the time. All the fucking time. It's pretty annoying. It's not bad, it's just not, I would say it's just not as fun. Maybe I'll show you. Kind of like how you are out in the world. This is P8, okay? It's not great, like, being out. Now, if you're in, like, Arcane Sanctuary or something, it could be okay, maybe? Well, those are cold immune, so, no, it's not. I have a Sunder, but this is supposed to be, yeah, there's just a bunch of fucking cold immunes here. Let's just go to Dry Hills. It's gonna be a pain in the ass here. It's probably not gonna be good. Right, but if you freeze them in it, they're just gonna take a lot of damage. You know, and that's 7 seconds or whatever. They're immune to lightning, so. Now, you can see it's kind of horrible. It's kind of trash. But it's doable, and you don't really need anything. I wouldn't really need a bunch of gear for doing this. go in here and see how it is. Right, remember this is P8, so... Right, you can do that with big groups too. You know, and like a doorway here too, like this. And the freeze that you get from Glacial Spike, it just like makes them always shatter pretty much.
Not enough mana.
This is kind of like bare bones, really shitty build. This is not meant for doing this. And for bosses, so.
I need mana. Not enough mana.
But it's possible. I would not recommend doing this type of gameplay on P8. Just kill Mephisto. There's no reason to kill all this other shit. I'm just saying, like, showing, like, you can, but I wouldn't. Because it's not good. Just dump on this guy. Yeah, this is fucking terrible. But I'm using a build that's not meant to do this. You can get, what I usually get is like a Whiz Pike and, you know, just like a bunch of res. But yeah, like every enemy shatters pretty much. Like every fucking one of them. So that's a nice thing if you want that. Yeah, so if you did want to kill stuff like in here, I would, and you didn't want to do, you know, Mephisto, I would pick Frozen Orb instead of Blizzard. Personally, I like Frozen Orb better, but Blizzard is just, it's just better for killing Mephisto. Like, there's, Frozen Orb has a range, and it has kind of like a minimum and maximum range to do any, like, real damage. So, Blizzard doesn't, and it has that long cooldown, so you're not just, like, ooming, just going out of mana just constantly all the, I mean, you kind of are if you're doing what I just did, but I'm not, I shouldn't be doing enemies there. I usually get a Whiz Pike, and then this or Rhyme or Ancient's Pledge. Rip does not fucking matter as long as it's like res. My stat allocation is weird. I know it's weird, but it works. I get 156 here just so that when I do get a spirit, I can use it. You don't need to. You could have, you know, like 50 in here and just pump a bunch of vitality. You don't need to, though. You're not going to be getting hit if you're doing the Mephisto shit anyway. Dexterity, why 75? I get 75 personally because when you're doing Mephisto, you're gonna find a Whiz Pike. You're gonna find a Whiz Pike. And this shit is amazing, res-wise. To get all that res and all that mana and all that FCR, extremely good. I like it for the res. That's just personally me. As a sorceress, you're going to be getting hit by ranged attacks most often, and ranged attacks are generally not physical. And if they are physical, like the arrows, they generally come with an elemental effect that does a lot of damage. So I would much rather have the res here than like a spirit, because you get more FCR and you get a ton of mana still, which is really spirit's biggest thing is all the mana and the FCR. Uh, this does it better, and it also has the 75 all res. So I just dump it in and immediate like you're gonna find whiz pikes left and right from P8 Mephisto. So you might as well just be ready to just throw it on. And then, just have it whenever you need it. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. I put 75 in here as well. I know you're like probably thinking, holy shit, that's a lot of points out of vitality. That's for the spirit. That's for the whiz pike. This is, just kind of whatever. You really don't even have to have that much in here anyway. And then this is for mana. I would highly recommend getting around 75. You could probably even go a little bit more. But you need enough mana to where your insight is actually going to take effect, because the more mana you have, the faster your mana regens. You can see this is by a percentage, right? But your mana regen is also based on how much mana you have. So it's kind of like a percentage. I don't know the exact variables behind that, but I'm pretty sure it's percentage. So it's like if you have like 1,000 mana, it's like 10 mana per second instead of if you were to have 10 mana or 100 mana, it'd only be like 1 mana per second, right? But this is based on that number. So if your mana's low, it's going to be shitty recharge, even if this is 680%. What else? I don't think there really is anything else to explain. If you're just doing Mephisto, yeah, I would get 75 here for sure. I would recommend just getting it here, and then when you get a whiz pike, like that's an amazing item. Don't have to though. If you think that's stupid, I'm not gonna fight you on it. Like if you don't want to use whiz pike, you don't have to. Spirit's totally fine. There's tons of other items too. Like I have 3-piece Tal Rashas, so maybe I'll find the weapon for Tal Rashas and want to use that when I'm out. If you're killing Mephisto, I would just stick with the insight, honestly. The mana is the main thing there, but it does have some magic fine there too. Cast rate doesn't really matter. You're using Blizzard. There's not really any pieces that I'd really shoot for, honestly. It's kind of like whatever you find and magic find. That's pretty much it. And yeah, you could just dump a bunch into Vitality. I don't need it. This is just a farm character. This is like an alt character for me. It's just to farm Mephisto. I would highly recommend doing P8 Mephisto. Because when you get there, it's not really gonna matter if he's P8 or lower. Like, it's just gonna be a little bit longer. And I'll show you, P1 is just like pathetic. So there's not really a change. It's more about just maximizing your loot. Straight across. Doesn't matter if you aggro him, just go up here and get away from him. Come back. You want to do that like horseshoe type shit. You don't want to just shoot directly over here because then they're going to path over. Static him. It's the same. It gets to the beginning of the H, as you can see. And then switch over and just blizzard the shit out of him. Oh yeah, you want to... Here. And then swap. And I missed it. Like a dumbass. You still got stuff here. Like, still okay stuff, but... Trash. Go through the portal. Because if you don't, it's going to be a pain in the ass to walk all the way through Act 3. If you're already there, you just might as well be on P8. There's no danger. And you're going to get significantly more drops. Way, way more. So, yeah. This isn't really like a full guide. But I will be making a full guide. I don't even know when. Not too far in the future, but I'm going to be making a full guide for a couple characters. This was just kind of like the gearing part. In case anybody is curious how I gear. It's super easy.
What
like,
do you need?
You'll get better and better at it too. Even if you're online.
Hail to you, champion.
You know, dying with this character does not matter. Your softcore. Because you don't need the mercenary either for this. That's the big part of it. You don't want the mercenary, because the mercenary is going to fucking walk around and pull a bunch of crap. You don't want him. You don't want to have to revive him 60 times. That's why you're the one wearing the insight. If you're out in the world, you do get him and switch over to, what I do is that Whiz Pike and the Mosers with 2 thingies combo. You'll see my res is trash right here with this. But if I swap over to these 2, they're just fucking max. And that's with this. So, yeah, 63 all res, 75. You could just go with the spirit. I don't think I really need it though. Yeah, 80 FCR. Like, I don't really give a shit. Easy. Easy build, easy playstyle. Honestly, it's really broken. It's kind of overpowered, but yeah. 20 here, 20 here, 20 here. Got 1 here. 20 here. 1 here. And then you just dump all your points into teleport. Unless you don't want to do that. You don't have to, but teleporting around in Endurance level 2, if you have this leveled up, you're just going to be able to teleport forever with no gear. I mean, obviously you need the insight and a little bit of mana, but the more points into this, the more you're going to be able to teleport, so. Yeah, that's what I recommend. Do it if you want. Don't do it if you want. Change it up. You know, let me know if you think something's better or have questions or any of that.